I think for the most part, when people leave this earth, for the most part, I think that we think positive about them, right? Like whether we had some sort of issue or something happened in the past, I just kind of feel like the meaning of the minutia that, you know, occurred while they were alive kind of just dissipates, and we choose to remember like the very positive things. So anyway, we will get into some of the end of life stuff at the end of the show, because that's what we always do. But I also want to talk a little bit about this flag that I see behind you. So behind Dave is this flag. And on the flag, there is a cross and like a crescent moon is what I would say. Tell us the significance of this flag.
You know, people have flags. People have flags in their life. A lot of people have their favorite football team's flag hanging off their house. You got an American flag. You have flags that represent where you want to be. And that's a whole sense of belonging. So this flag is a big deal on a lot of levels. So the flag was given to me, but it's actually a piece of history. So there's the front end to the story. You talk about happiness in your podcast. And so this is actually a happy story, but the flag represents probably some organizational attitude and attitudinal approaches that can keep you happy even in the most austere conditions. So I'm in an extreme senior leader position. I'm selected to go be an executive leader in Iraq with 235 highly qualified, highly trained medics, neurosurgeons, and administrative people, but you know, the top of their game. And then some young people, it was their first trip to go do trauma medicine during the surge in Iraq in 2008. So how the heck do you get that done, right? And so on my way over, I had to come up with a couple of concepts. I had to try some things. I wasn't a new leader, and I definitely had been around people, and I understood, you know, how to work with people organizationally, kind of scratch their itch and keep them happy, you know, and have fun. No matter what you're doing, have fun. But I knew we were going to have some long days, a lot of helicopters, a lot of wounded people, and Amy, we took care of everybody. We took care of the enemy. We took care of the young children. We took care of families, and you know, a lot of it was pretty critical stuff. So how do you get people emotionally, spiritually, and physically maintained? How do you keep them happy, right? In their way. So I picked two things. One was I hate push-ups. I hate push-ups more than anything on the face of the planet. I did 30 years in the military and I hate push-ups. That's oxymoronic, but I did it. And I said, we're going to do a lot of push-ups. Push-ups are going to improve me, and they're going to improve everybody around me, and we'll share a little bit of pain, you know, just a little bit. And then I figured I had to have a flag, a proverbial, you know, a figurative flag to rally around, for everybody to rally around. So when I got there and I finished my changeover, we had an office building. There was a solid office building, was attached to the trauma center, and my office had a ramp that went right into the trauma bay. And as you know, I'm a nurse. I'm a shock trauma ER nurse, so I worked, which was unusual for the young people because the chief is working. You know, the chief usually is the executive stuff. And I would the helicopters would come and I would just go get my patient or patients and do my thing. So when I got there, my routine, I started with a few things. One is you got to tell yourself the right thing every day. You know, how you project as a leader, you have to tell yourself the right thing every day. And so you need help with that sometimes. So I would literally get on my knees in the chaplain's office. We had a chaplain there 24/7. And let them pray on me, let them put their hands on me. And it was nourishing, you know, it gives you a little bit of strength to get out there and to do what you need to do. And it was amazing what you learn in this little microcosm of a world in a chaplain's office. Because one day I would walk in and it would be a rabbi. And the next day was a Catholic priest. And the next day was a Christian minister. And the words were all very similar. And they're all very, very similar in their empowerment. So long story short is, when I'd go in to do these push-ups and we would do push-ups, people, when you're in leader positions or in positions of influence, especially CEOs and people that are leading small groups and men's clubs and, you know, the big and the small, people want to know how you're doing. And it's such an innocuous question. But when you're in that position, you have to answer that question. So the question, we would get up from doing push-ups and the question would be, Chief, how are you doing? And the answer would be, I'm maximum fabulous. And you even smiled bigger.
Now you know the story, and I still smile.
and people would look at, I mean, just that inquisitive look, just like you just had. And people would say, what are you talking about? And I said, well, that is the pinnacle of your self-attitude. If you can get to maximum fabulous every day, then you're projecting an attitude and your self-talk is healthy and then you're projecting an attitude.